to express our sincere gratitude to the distinguished heads of national statistics offices for the invaluable strategic support you have provided over the past year to the regional statistical program. We are also equally grateful to our partners, particularly the World Bank, African Development Bank, the United Nations Food and Agriculture. The organization is the International Labour Organization, and the United Nations Women for your presence in this meeting, despite your demanding schedules. We thank you for the partnership, collaboration, and support. Distinguished delegates, this committee meeting takes place at a critical time when the demand for credible, timely, and harmonized statistics continue to grow in support of evidence-based policy making. Across the world and in our region, in our SADC region, changes are happening fast through industrialization, rapid urbanization, climate change, disasters, migration, dynamic labor markets, and many others that are reshaping the way policies need to be formulated for the benefit of our society. These changes have led to unprecedented demand for statistics over the past decade that our statistical systems must adapt in terms of relevance and responsiveness despite the limited resources available. As member states continue to navigate this evolving and intensifying global, regional, and national challenges in pursuit of building regional and national resilience and development, the role of official statistics remains central in informing policy decisions, monitoring socio-economic trends, and strengthening accountability in public policy implementation. In this regard, the SADC Statistics Committee continues to serve as an important policy and technical platform for promoting cooperation among member states, strengthening national statistical system, advancing statistical harmonization, and enhancing the availability and comparability of quality statistics across our SADC region. Your role as a statistics committee in providing oversight is paramount in this regard. Distinguished delegates, it's therefore a necessity that the region's statistical system embraces new technologies and innovative data sources complementing existing traditional methods in this country. To this end, surging towards increased use of administrative data, big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning techniques shall unlock the potential benefits for statistical system to meet the increasing data demands. As a regional community guided by the SADC Vision 2050 and the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan, known in short as WISDIP 2020-2030, our aspirations must progressively translate into operational realities that advance regional integration and sustainable development. However, our collective commitment to inclusion, equity, and leaving no one behind cannot be realized without reliable, timely, harmonized, and disaggregated statistics. Distinguished delegates, this brings me to some of the key issues that this meeting will consider. First, the signing and ratification of the SADC Protocol on Statistics to enable its entry into force remains a matter of high priority. The protocol represents a strategic commitment at the highest policy level and offers significant benefits to the regional statistical community, particularly in strengthening trust, professionalism, coordination, and credibility in official statistics. In this regard, your leadership and continued engagement with relevant national stakeholders and institutions remain critical in advancing the signing and ratification process within member states. The committee will also receive updates on ongoing statistical capacity building initiatives undertaken across our SADC region. Of particular significance and importance is the Secretariat's progress in promoting the use of mobile phone data as an innovative big data source through pilot projects implemented at national level. This initiative marks an important milestone in supporting national statistical systems to harness emerging and alternative data sources for official statistical production. In the same vein, I wish to assure the committee that the Secretariat remains committed to strengthening statistical modernization efforts and will soon roll out capacity building initiatives in artificial intelligence and machine learning for official statistics. Distinguished delegates, the Secretariat has also made notable progress in modernizing regional statistical data transmission, management, and dissemination systems through the operationalization of the SADC Open Data Portal, the Trade Statistics Processing System, and the Labor Market Information System. The sustainability and effectiveness of this specialized system will require continued support and commitment from member states to ensure that users of regional statistics have access to accurate, timely, and up-to-date information for monitoring regional integration and development policies. The committee's expert guidance and policy direction in these areas will be invaluable in strengthening the relevance, responsiveness, and effectiveness of our regional statistical interventions. Distinguished delegates, as I conclude, allow me firstly to acknowledge the strong collaboration between the Secretariat and our technical and cooperating partners in supporting the regional statistical agenda. Such collaboration, strong collaboration, remains essential in avoiding duplication of efforts and ensuring the efficient utilization of limited financial and technical resources. In particular, the collaboration with the World Bank Group through the Regional Statistics Project has played an instrumental role in strengthening the institutional capacity of the regional statistical system and delivering impactful results across member states. Distinguished delegates, trust in official statistics must always be safeguarded, given its critical role as a public good and as a foundation for evidence-based policy formulation, planning, monitoring, and decision-making. Investment in regular censuses and surveys is therefore not optional, but imperative, particularly as the region prepares for the 2030 round of population, housing, and agriculture censuses. I remain confident that the deliberation of the 34th Statistics Committee meeting will provide strategic direction on how the regional statistical system can continue adapting to the evolving economic and social environment while maintaining its role as the leading provider of credible information for measuring development progress and informing future policy and strategy formulation. In conclusion, I wish to express appreciation to the government of the Republic of South Africa, as well as the Statistics South Africa team, for their leadership, commitment, and outstanding support towards the successful organization and hosting of this meeting. Furthermore, I extend my sincere gratitude to all committee members for your leadership, continued cooperation, and tireless efforts in guiding the work of this important sector. Your dedication remains critical in strengthening the regional statistical system and advancing our shared regional development aspiration. Finally, I wish us all productive deliberations and a pleasant stay in this beautiful city of Cape Town. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigada. Asante sana.
Colleagues, may we please give another round of applause. Thank you so much. It is now my distinct pleasure to invite Mr. Lusana, the head of Statistics South Africa and the Statistician General of the Republic of South Africa and the chairperson of the 34th SADC Statistics Committee to address us.
Program Director, I know that I'm not as tall as you are. So you have to. I have to do some adjustments. Program Director Ms. Nkabise Mahata, who is one of the deputies at Statistics South Africa. Let me take note of you and other deputies that are here that you are representing. But particularly, there's a sound issue here that is actually, I need to protect our ears. So those who control sound must deal with that. Excellency, as SADC Deputy Executive Secretary, responsible for regional integration, Ms. Angela Makombo Ntumba. I'm pleased to share the table with you, and indeed I'm quite pleased that you found time to come and join us during the heads of national statistical agencies and offices from our SADC region. And indeed, let me also take note of the colleagues that you have brought along. And the United Nations is also here, and African institutions that are also here with us. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a privilege and honor for me to open this meeting. It's like you coming to open a meeting from amongst the equals. Because when I stand before you as colleagues, I don't stand outside the remit of our fraternity. But let me also take note that as the host country, I also carry the flag that welcomes you all here. So on behalf of the South African government and the people of South Africa, indeed on behalf of myself, let me extend a special welcome to all delegates, distinguished guests gathered here today. I trust that you travel safely down to South Africa. You will find this part of the country quite enjoyable. Let me also put a disclaimer that I'm not a very good public speaker, Madam. So in the event I stammer, my colleagues are used to finish for me. Yeah. We will remember we met in Zimbabwe last year, and our colleague from Zimbabwe, my sister Temi, we really need to take a special note and also look at the progress that we have done since. There were a lot of bilaterals that we had amongst ourselves. I'm pleased that after that, we were able to work with our brothers and sisters in Angola to see the census results being launched following that meeting where our brother from Angola had to leave urgently from the SADC meeting to go and deal with such issues. I'm also aware that as we host this meeting as South Africa, this meeting would have taken place in Madagascar, and our colleagues from Madagascar have been kind enough to say, South Africa, would you kindly discharge of these responsibilities as we move forward. We are pleased that this meeting is taking place right a day after we have celebrated the well-being of being an African, Africa Day. We also have our own celebrations, Madam, the Africa Statistics Day that we take later in the year. As governments across the globe navigate increasingly complex social, economic, environmental challenges, statistics remain the foundation upon which sound policy, effective planning, and accountable governance are built. In our region, this responsibility carries even a greater significance as we work collectively to advance regional integration, sustainable development, and inclusive growth. The Southern African Development Community, SADC, has long recognized that reliable, timely, and comparable statistics are essential to achieving the aspirations of the region as a whole, particularly the regional indicative strategy and strategic development. Going forward at a continental level, from linking ourselves to Agenda 2063, and indeed at the global level, dealing with the sustainable development goals. Of course, as SADC, when we look at the post-2030 development agenda, we need to deal with real issues. What is it that we as statisticians would like to sponsor to be taken forward in the post-2030 development agenda? 4, if we don't sponsor anything, we must be prepared as a region, as the SADC region, to always follow others when they've dictated what should be done. And in following others, one of the biggest things we must know is that we will never get our dreams realized. So in leaving no one behind, we can't always lead from behind. We must sometimes take issues forward. And for us to do so, we need quality statistics, for we cannot adequately measure poverty, inequality, and unemployment. We cannot monitor trade flows, migration, food security, climate vulnerability, education outcomes, and health systems. And importantly, we cannot accurately assess whether the lives of our people are improving. Statistics are therefore not merely about numbers. They are not abstract. There's life behind the numbers. They are instruments for transformation. They enable governments to identify gaps, allocate resources efficiently, evaluate impact, and build public trust through transparency and accountability. Distinguished delegates, the work of SADC Statistics Committee continues to strengthen harmonization and coordination across our national statistics system for our countries and for the region. This work is essential if we are to deepen regional cooperation and ensure that the data produced across our countries speaks to common standards, speaks to shared priorities and collective development objectives. South Africa appreciates the ongoing efforts by the SADC Secretariat and, of course, by all of us as member states to make sure that we continue with regional capacity building for statistics, promote innovation in official statistics, modernize statistical production systems, and of course, take us forward. We commend the important progress made in areas such as civil registration and vital statistics, population and housing censuses, economic statistics, environmental statistics, and development indicators that will take us forward as a region. At the same time, we must acknowledge the challenges confronting official statistics globally and within our region. Firstly, we operate in an environment of rapidly evolving technologies, increasing demand for real-time information. Citizens, policymakers, and markets now expect faster and more granular data than ever before. And at this point, Excellency, I need to indicate that at some stage I will take leave of us for about 1 hour 30 minutes. And my colleague here, Tabise Mahata, will take care of the South African flag, while myself and 2 other deputies of Status say go and release the general household surveys. The media will relocate and other medias are still arriving. Media houses are still arriving. The general household survey deals with issues of services, be it health, education, service delivery, and other issues that occur in society. We deliberately brought it down to Cape Town for purposes that we wanted to make sure that on the margins of this meeting, we also alert the media that we are serious about gathering as statisticians. And I guess at some stage they will find time to have a media conference with us as I thought it's arranged. Secondly, national statistical offices are under growing pressure to produce more with limited resources, while maintaining the highest standards of quality, independence, and credibility. Thirdly, we are confronted with declining survey response rates in many countries, rising operational costs, and increasing complexity in measuring modern economies and societies. Our economies and societies are not like they were about 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 60 years ago when we first got or tested independence as the African continent. They are changing and changing a lot more faster. And indeed, finally, we face the challenge of misinformation, disinformation in the digital era, which places even greater responsibility on official statistics to remain trusted sources of evidence and truth. The late and supreme leader of China, Deng Xiaoping in dialect, once said, "Seek truth from the facts." And who is the torchbearer of our nations? Who holds facts in our nations with such zeal and independence if it's not ourselves gathered here? So we cannot, Madam Excellency, we cannot, under any circumstances, abdicate of our responsibilities. For if we do so, those who have waited for human rights and democracies for too long will never taste it in our lifetime, and we shall have failed. We dare not fail. These challenges that stand before us must make us think differently about the role and future of official statistics. We must continue to embrace innovation and digital transformation. The integration of administrative data, geospatial information, big data, emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence presents significant opportunities to strengthen timeliness, relevance, and efficiency in our statistical systems. However, innovation must always be accompanied by robust governance, ethical safeguards, and protection of privacy and confidentiality. Public trust remains the cornerstone of official statistics. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has itself been reflecting deeply on the future of data and statistics within the broader developmental state. We recognize that integrated data ecosystems are becoming increasingly important for responsive governance and evidence-based decision-making. In this regard, regional cooperation becomes indispensable. No country can address these challenges alone. Collaboration within SADC enables us to share expertise, strengthen institutional capacity, harmonize methodologies, and collectively respond to emerging statistical demands. The strength of SADC has always been rooted in solidarity and cooperation. Lest we forget, those of us on the southern tip of Africa, on the southern tip of our region, we know very well what solidarity is all about. Madam Excellency, I wouldn't be standing here before you enjoying to be an equal citizen amongst many more were it not for our countries that have sacrificed so much to give us the right of existence and survival as a country of South Africa. Of course, at the same time and spirit, we continue guiding our statistical community as a collective, as SADC, as if no one of us was left behind at some stage. William Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet, and I know we love Romeo and Juliet, in Act number 2, Scene 2, and I quote, "But soft, what light throw yonder windows brings? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun." If statistics will be our sun, if statistics will be our Juliet, so let it be. I therefore encourage all of us to use this meeting not only as a technical platform, but also as a strategic opportunity to shape the future direction of statistics in our region. Our deliberations over the coming few days are important. They will help us develop our statistical capacities in our different nations to make sure that we are resilient and fit for purpose in increasingly dynamic environments we face. As we engage in our discussions, I would like to remind us that the modernization of our statistical systems remains supreme. Investment in capacity building remains unchangeable. Harmonization of regional standards and frameworks is non-negotiable, especially within the SADC protocols on statistics. We need to strengthen data governance, integration, and interoperability so that we can link everything that we do. We need to improve accessibility and the use of official statistics for policy making and development. Distinguished delegates, allow me to also recognize the dedicated efforts and professionalism of our SADC Secretariat, the colleagues that work within our statistics unit at SADC Secretariat. Madam Excellence, Madam Dumba, if you carry our message back as statisticians, that they have never let us down. For years, we have developed together with them. For if they had let us down, the SADC Statistics Committee would have failed, would not be existing. And we know many committees that have failed at some stage, even at global level. So we do appreciate their efforts. And of course, we need to say that from informing economic policy and social development, the work that they do deals with disaster response, public health issues, and of course, guide us beyond the work of statistics. There are times where, as statisticians, we don't sit in other meetings, and we rely on the work that they do. We rely on you, Madam Excellence. Before I conclude, I wish to come once again to indicate that Statistics South Africa, while serving now on behalf of Madagascar, we will be hosting you again next year. Choose the city, choose the place of your choice, and dictate to us who will make the meeting happen. I trust that in our engagements, we will be productive, constructive, forward-looking, and indeed, we will strengthen our region, SADC. It is now my honor, singular honor and privilege, to officially declare the SADC Statistics Committee meeting open. Program Directors. There's a legend, Excellency, coming out of my village that I never stop talking. But on this note, I'm afraid, while I never had enough time to prepare for a shorter input, the next page of my input is blank. I thank you.
As Jane was ladies and gentlemen, let's give him another round of applause. Thank you. Let me take this opportunity to thank our distinguished speakers this morning for laying a strong foundation for the discussions over the next 30 days. For the very last time, they are asked you to give them the last round. We are almost at the end of this opening session. A few more announcements. The opening remarks delivered this morning will be circulated to the members of the media and the delegates following the opening session. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I know our work is about providing evidence. So we also need evidence that the 84th SADC Statistics Committee met in Cape Town will then be ushered for a photo session after this. Immediately after the photo session, we will proceed for a coffee break of about 20 minutes. Let me at this point out and kindly inform that members of the media who are here and who were invited to attend this opening session will not be invited to attend the meeting when we convene after the break in order to allow the meeting to proceed into closed and private setting. This therefore now concludes the official opening ceremony. The meeting will now proceed in closed session after the tea break. I thank you all for your kind attention, and once again, welcome to the 24th SADC Statistics Committee. Protocol, may you kindly usher the delegates to where the photo session will be taking place and ensure that the media room is ready for media interviews immediately after the photo session. Thank you, please.